Hello, welcome to the session on Revit architecture. I'm Geeta Prakash. So let us start the session 1 today. Our objective of session 1 is the introduction. So we will see project workflow, the construction life cycle. We will see what is BIM. We will see what is BIM levels. Then the features of Revit. Then some projects which has been done in Revit. Then the Revit file types, the building elements. If time permits, we will also see the user interface of Revit architecture. So let us start with the project workflow. Now, as freshers of civil engineers, this is the project flow. That is, when you get a new project, so how do you start is first the surveying is done. Survey of the land is done, and then it is generated, the 2D drafting is generated. Once the 2D is developed, the drawings are done, and which you do it in AutoCAD. Once that is done, then the structure is modeled. This is the new concept which has come within 10 years. So the modeling is done. Now why the modeling is done is what we are going to see through when we start doing Revit. So then the structure is designed, and then the quantity is estimated. So now you have seen the flow. So I would like to support this through a video. Just let us see the video of how everything is done till the modeling and how Revit will be useful to you in your course. So see this video. So it has the 2D drawings are generated from the plan, then the modeling is happening here. So the walls are constructed, the basement is modeled, the walls are modeled, the partition walls are modeled, the furniture is placed. So this is what exactly we will be doing it in Revit architecture. So the roof is modeled, then the upper portion is modeled, and the upper floor, first floor, second floor is modeled, and then the roof is modeled, you can see, and then it is closed. Now this is what is modeling. The next you are going to see is animation, which is not a part of Revit, but walkthrough can be done in Revit. Now this is the animation. Now the flowers will come and all the birds will chirp. Now this, you can see the flowers are moving. Now the moving cannot be done, animation cannot be done in Revit, but you can see the camera moving around the building. That is called the walkthrough. So this walkthrough is possible in Revit. So once this walkthrough is done, you can go inside and see how your building looks, how your house looks. And this is when it done large scale. This is done in a very large scale. And you can also see you saw the overall modeling of the building. Now when this is done in large scale, it becomes the high-rise towers, and all the tidal parks are modeled in this way. So now what happens throughout this project life cycle is, whenever I have a dream of my house, I am telling you in a small scale house. So what happens is, the architect develops this conceptual design. So he gets the input of the client and he designs the concepts. So once the concept is designed and then the drawings are generated, documentation part is generated in 2D as you saw just a few minutes before. Once that is done, so next it goes for modeling, and then it goes for analysis. Analysis, they require the structural part. Okay, so structural analysis is done, and then after that again it is gone for documentation or visualization. So Revit can be used for some of the visualization purposes in the modeling part, but not in kind of the animation part, which you saw when the flowers were moving. That is not possible in Revit, but the walkthrough can be done in Revit, which I have explained it to you. Now, once the documentation is done, what happens is, now you get the quantity. Once the quantity you calculate, that is done by, we do it in estimation, and then it goes for construction. Now all these can be done in the software part, tools part, and the whole process. Now once the construction is done, then the logistics part comes into the picture. Logistic means purchase of material, cement bags, etc. You come, rods and bricks, everything, and then the whole building is done. Now the operation happens, the whole building, now it is sold to the clients. So now the clients come and live inside the building, right? So once the clients live, what happens is the operation and maintenance happens. Again, I'm not talking about a very small house. I'm talking about in larger scale. Well, Revit will be useful in a larger scale. Smaller scale for individual persons it will be useful, but the operation and maintenance part, the whole BIM, the process will be useful in only in the large scale part, large scale towers, multinational towers, you see, like a Burj Dubai and all, where a lot of maintenance going to happen. Security is there. So whenever a leak happens, suppose after 5 years, whenever leak happens in the pipe, it is not so easy to detect the leakage. So what happens when you model it, and when you model it in a BIM, so the BIM process, you have everything modeled in your system, is it not? So whenever the leak happens, you can easily find out, and then what happens, you click in a second of a click, it goes to the vendor, because all the details are there inside the system, right? So that is happening, but BIM is a Revit will be used in only one small part of the BIM, where is modeling. Okay, so now operation and maintenance happens, and after 50 years of time, the building gets demolished, because the life of a building is almost 50 years, and then it gets demolished, and then the conceptual design again starts. So this whole process is done using the coordination of BIM nowadays. So that is called BIM. So BIM is not Revit. BIM is a concept. BIM is a concept out of which there are a lot of tools involved in it, where Revit is one part of it. I hope you understood. The next we go for the BIM coordination. So BIM coordination requires the coordination of the architect, detailer, engineer, fabricator and the owner. So that is how this BIM will help you. Okay, now all this coordination is done. Now this coordination is done by people, but with the help of Revit. Now there are 3 BIM levels. Now up to 7D has come, but now currently what we are using is up to 5D. Okay, so 2D you already might have known in your course, that is AutoCAD. So where you do 2D visualization of the plan. Now once the 2D is in a 3D, when it's developed, it's called three-dimensional. What is 4D now? The scheduling and the estimation. This is what is called what is scheduling? That is when the time frame of the construction of the whole project is scheduled. It is planned accordingly. Okay, then after that works, that is estimation works will be done. So that is estimating is called the 5D. 6D and 7D, it's coming up in the future. So we will be talking about only 3D now. Now, in a detailed view that I have shown you the BIM levels, whereas 3D is what, 4D is what, we say project planning. Just now have a knowledge of this. Then we have 5D estimation. So estimation, when I talk about it, is not only the architectural estimation. Revit architecture will do the architectural estimation. But there is structural estimation, there are a lot of estimation, steel estimation, so a lot of things are there, which our is limited now. Then we have the 6D and the 7D. So just have a knowledge of what a 6D is. It is It is conceptual energy, where how much of your energy you're using in the big towers. They'll be using refrigerators and boilers, so a lot of heat will be generated. Fans, AC is there. So now this will emit energy into the atmosphere, so which will cause pollution. For that, to check how much of your building releases, how much of energy will be done in the 6D. And what is 7D? 7D is like life cycle management, which you saw in the project life cycle. So maintenance and vendor communication. So when I said, when you switch one, pick one button of that leakage in the pipe, it goes to the vendor, what pipe, what size, all the technical specifications are available in the 7D. So this is called the facility management. Now, when coming to Revit modeling, you can see the screen. Now, Revit is 2D also can be done, 3D can be done simultaneously. Sectioning, you need not draw manually. As you do it in AutoCAD, automatically the sections will be cut and the quantity will be generated simultaneously. So, all these things happening simultaneously in Revit is, we say, 3D. Okay, so plan you need not draw. Plan you have an AutoCAD, you can bring it here directly. So all these coordination is done simultaneously, which will help you in modeling easily. Okay, so now what Revit is going to generate? It is going to generate orthographic views for you, detailed drawings, that is in 2D also it will generate, scheduling, then you have the exterior and interior, you can see your views, then you can do the walkthroughs and you can take out the quantity. Now, some of the pictures what you see is the exteriors and interiors, which we will be doing modeling. So it will be generated in this format, the output you can see. Then this is one more more rendered portion, so one more bigger picture of the interiors. And these are small projects which has been done in Revit. And I'll show you some big projects which also have been done. So these kind of ultimate output will be given by the Revit architecture. So however, stories, 3 stories, 4 stories, any number of stories, the file size, it can be controlled by you. So you can see the output picture now. So this is the project, a school project is there, a multi residential project is there. This is a commercial project. You can see on the left hand side how the quantity will be estimated by Revit for you. So you take out the quantity and put it in Excel and you can get the rate estimation also. So this we call it as scheduling here. You don't say quantity estimation, you will say schedule. It's a wall schedule, door schedule, and then you will say material takeoff. So this is called schedule here, schedules or quantities. Now this again is one more commercial projects which has been executed in Revit. Terminal airport building, what you saw. This is one more residential condo. Right. So now what is Revit? So Revit is a design and documentation platform that supports the design. Drawings can be generated and schedules required for building information modeling. Okay. So building information delivers information about the project, design, it tells the scope, it tells the quantities, and it tells the phases when you need it. Now, when we talk about the Revit file types, when RVT, there are 4 type of file types with Revit supports. Like any software, if you say Excel, you save it in .xls. AutoCAD, you save as the files are saved as .dwg. Here, the files are saved in 4 formats. So here we don't say file, here we say projects. So .rvt, your Revit files will be stored as .rvt, Revit projects. And when you open a template, so without a template, a software tool cannot work. So when you have the template, now what is a template? So the elements required for your project, like doors, windows, etc., will be stored in that. So any kind of dimension, units, etc. will be there. The whatever you need will be there in that template. So without the template, Revit cannot work. So when you open a template, it opens in a format called .rte, Revit template. Then you have the components like chair, furniture, any table you want, it is there in the library by default. But suppose you want your customized furnitures, then you need to form it. You can model it. That also we will learn. So when you try to model it, it is modeled in a small module called RFA or Revit families. And when you open the families will always, it's some kind of a file. It will not open automatically. It needs a template for it. So that template is also available. It's called .rft. So Revit family template. So there are 4 Revit file types: .rvt, .rte, .rfa, and .rft family template. Now, when you come to the Revit elements, I told you a lot of elements are there. Let us see first how the software architecture is built. Now, Revit elements is divided into 3 parts, right? So we have the model elements, we have the datum elements, and we have the view specific elements. Now, what is model elements is again, it is further divided into host and model components. So what is a host? Now, when you build a project, what happens when you build a home? Some things, some components are constructed at the site. Can you name some? Yeah, like let me tell you, the columns and the walls and the floors. You see, they are built at the site. They are not constructed somewhere and brought in. Now the technology has come, but the proper way is you construct at the site. So the components which are constructed at the site, they are called the hosts, because it's going to hold some element, right? So these are the walls, floors, roof, ceiling. So these kind of elements. And when something is built outside and brought in and fitted in the host, they are called the components, like doors, stairs. Stairs, some are constructed at the site, some are built somewhere and brought here. Okay, windows, furnitures. The furnitures are they require host, like lamps. Okay, without a wall, a door cannot be fixed, and without a ceiling, a light cannot. You cannot fix a light on the floor or the ceiling. And so these are called model components. So any model component requires a host. Okay. Now, once the doors, windows, furnitures, they are the architectural components. Similarly, you have the when we learn Revit structure, then there will be structural elements. When we learn Revit MEP, then there will be MEP elements. So all these MEP structural elements like beams, columns, etc. are called structural components. And MEP elements, pipes, ducts, electrical wires, cables required. So these will be your MEP elements: plumbing, taps, pipe fittings, etc. So these will be the MEP elements. Now when we talk about the datum elements are like levels. When we talk about building, there will be not only ground floor, but there will be first floor. So second floor, there will be number of floors, is it not? So the floor levels. Okay, so ceiling level we say. So they are called reference planes, which are called levels. Now grids. What is grid? When you want to draw the beam and a column position, you name it, you number it. So these are called grids. Okay, technically. So after that, there comes the view specific elements, where you have your annotation. So whenever you draw a plan, we know that it has to be dimensioned. It has to be, some text has to be written. Now dimension, some symbols have to be placed. A door symbol, you will place it. So these are called tags, text. Okay, dimensions. These will be your annotation elements. And details is you may need to hatch it. So I told you for 2D purposes, you need not go for AutoCAD. You can use your Revit as a 2D element also. 2D tool also. You need not specifically install in AutoCAD. So you can do a minimal 2D works here. Which will cover your most of the usage of 2D. So they will be having filled in regions, 2D components will be there, a door symbol will be there, then detail lines will be line, arc, circle, all these things is ready-madely available in Revit also. So they are called as detail elements. And the views. View means 2D view, 3D views, sectional views, elevational views, so exterior views, camera, all these things will come under the view specific elements. I hope you have understood this. Now, when we talk about the user interface, you can see the Revit user interface. We will go into the software later, but we will see how the whole thing is as an overview this session. Maybe in the next session we will go for the explanation of the whole thing visually in the tool, right? So we'll have, you can see on the top corner you have your wall, door, window component. These are called the ribbons. Okay, now these ribbons can be controlled by using these buttons. They can be hidden, they can be floated, they can be docked using these two buttons, which I will show it in the software. This is called the property bar. To your left hand side is called the fifth number, is called the property bar. Whenever you click a tool called wall, so the property of the wall and the whole thing of the wall will be controlled over here. Okay, so this is the property bar. So we'll have a control, we will see. Then we'll have the project browser. Through this is the main navigator through which you will navigate to your screen. So this is the project work area or the graphical user interface where you will be modeling, and then you will be going to your 2D. If you want your sectional views, you can go through here and through this navigator bar. So you need to double click this. Whenever you double click, this will change automatically. Next will be your view control bar at the bottom of the screen. Remember that there is no command entry. You can use shortcuts, but you cannot use commands like LINEWLL. It is not possible here. All the commands is through your clicking of the mouse. Okay. Now here we have so many bars, which we will see one by one when you go to into the software. So we have the first is scaling. Okay, so we have all the view control by your sun settings. So just now you understand that this is called the view control bar, where your views will be controlled. Then comes your navigation cube. So when your navigation cube comes here, this navigation cube you see is used for rotating and viewing your model, 3D model. You can rotate your own, so orbiting, so you can see upside down, you can go to right, left, anywhere. So it is just controlling the steering this wheel, so you can go through this using this navigation cube. Remember all these things, these are very important. So in every video it may not be told, so just remember these tools. Okay, so this property bar, project browser, navigation cube are very important. Okay, so these are called the ribbons, and this is called the options bar. Whenever I click the wall or any tool here, when the options of the wall will come in this portion. Okay, this is called the options bar. So with this, I finished this session of the user interface and the introduction part. Thank you. We will meet you in the next session. Hello students, this is Geeta Prakash again for the session, next session. So our objective in this session will be the user interface. In the last session we have seen the user interface, but it was not in detail. So which is very important for the other sessions, later sessions to be continued. So we would like to have a detailed discussion on this user interface today in this session. So let us, what are we going to do is see the ribbons, see about the properties bar, project browser in detail, and the view control bar. So I'll be switching on for each session, and I will show you how it works on the system. right? So let us go towards this. We saw the user interface in the previous session, and you can see it was numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. We will see how to go in this in detail. So we have the one is called the file tab. So we have the file tab here. So quick access toolbar. So we'll be having this quick access toolbar here. Then we have the info center. So the info center is here for informations. Then we have the options bar, which is here, options bar. Then we have the type selector. So type selector you see is here, type selector. The element types will be selected. Properties palette, we saw it was here, the properties palette. The next comes the project browser. So this is the project browser. Then we have your status bar. So 9 will be your status bar. Then we have the view control bar. So this is the view control bar here. And 10 will be your drawing area. Okay, we shall see it in detail. And we have the ribbons. So where the ribbons are, so these are called the ribbons. So we have tabs on the ribbons. So these are the tabs on the ribbons. It is hidden, so you are not able to see it clearly. Okay, so 13 and 14, then panels on the ribbon. Again, it is hidden. These are the panels. This can be controlled as these are the panels here. It will be shown in the system. Right. So when we talk about the project browser, the project browser you use to navigate to the project. Okay, so this is very important. Why? What happens is whenever by mistake you close this button, it goes off. So you will not be able to navigate to the project. So in order to open the project browser, you have to go to the View tab, Windows panel, User interface drop down, and pick the project browser. So project browser is I told you, as to navigate through the project. So this is very, very important. So when you want to I want to show you on the software as how to see here. Now where the project browser is here. Now this project browser, if you see, I'm closing it. So I may not be able to see the project browser. So in order to get back it, you have to go to the View menu, User interface, and then you switch on the project browser. So just close this and automatically it comes. Now I told how to use this project browser is, suppose I want to go to the plan view, just double click it. So you go to the plan view. Suppose I want to go to the 3D views. So there are a lot of 3D views created. So we will be creating all these things one by one later. Now just have a view of it. So I go to this 3D, double click that, and then you get this. Suppose I want to go to the kitchen. So double click the kitchen area, you double click it, and you can see the kitchen area. Now again I want to go to the east view. So click elevations east, north. So double click that and automatically you go to that view. To bring back your view, go to this and click level 1. That is the plan view currently. I'll be explaining level 1 and thing later. So level 2, double click it. So automatically you go to the first floor plan. Okay. So this is how the project browser you have to use it. Okay. Now let's again go to our PowerPoint where you will be able to see. We will be seeing the other options. So we saw the project browser, and next we will go for the properties palette. So we were seeing this. and then we go for the properties palette. Now the properties palette is situated above the project browser. Sometimes both are docked simultaneously. So again, to open the properties, you click the view tab. Again the same Windows panel, like the project browser, go to the user interface, drop down and properties if you mistakenly close it. So property box views and modifies the parameters of the element selected. Means if you select a wall, so the properties of wall you can edit. If you select a door, so whichever element you select, the parameters of that element can be edited. Okay, that is called the properties palette. So you see here in the properties palette, now this I have not selected any element now. So if I want to select any element, now say let us select this. How to select it is place your cursor and click on the table. Now similarly select this, you see that's a table dining and you can edit the properties of that table. So this is how your properties palettes will be working out. So you can close it. If you close it, again you go to the view, user interface. Here click on the properties, automatically your properties box will appear. Again, now let's go to the PowerPoint for our next option. Next will be your options bar. Now options bar is placed below the ribbon and it displays some specific tools of the selected element. So now you can see that here we don't have now options bar now. This is the option of the furniture. Suppose I take a wall, select a wall. So it's saying modify walls, only one option is generated. Now let us select some other options. You can see now, or when I say go to architecture and click any element. So when you click any element, you can see that the element options bar are generated here. This is called the options bar. For every element that you select, click that and you get the options. Okay, we will see this one by one in the next sessions. So this is how you operate your options bar. Next, let us go to our visual control bar or the view control bar, which is very important because this displays, provides a quick access to display the current view. Now it has lot of options. First option is the scale. This is the scale, this is the detail level, this is the visual style, and you have sun path on off, this one, then shadows on off, crop view, this is the crop view, this is hide crop region, this is temporary hide isolate. You can see the specs element, and then you have the reveal hidden elements. So we'll see it one by one. So first, scale. Now custom scales can also be assigned. Scale is by default you have these kind of scales, 1:1 up to 1:5,000. You can give your custom scales. So based on the scale, the plan or the 3D view is generated. By default it is always 1:100. Okay, so if you want to see on the screen, here we have the scale button. By default it is 1:100. As I say 1:50, automatically your scale will change accordingly. So normally it is default 1:100, so we keep that as 1:100. So our next option would be scale. Then we have the detail levels. Now what is a detail level? Now this detail level, if you see the door, so the coarse, medium and fine detail levels are displayed. So fine will you can set it. So how do you want the customer or the client wants? So based on that view, we are setting the detail element. So if you want having an example of that in the system, see, suppose I take this wall here. Okay, now when you select this option called fine, you're able to see the finer details. Suppose I say a course, you may not be able to see that. So can you see the difference here? So this is the display level which I am setting it for the visual purpose. Suppose I don't want it, so you need not set. You can make it as course. Okay, so this is how the detail level is set. The next option would be your visual styles. Now when we talk about the visual styles, we have different visual styles, a number of visual styles which will vary according to the versions. Now it displays the graphical styles for the project view. Wireframe view. So this is the transparent view, the hidden view, the shaded view. So where you get the colors, here you have the consistent colors. Here we have the realistic view. So as you see on the real view, so that's called realistic, and the ray trace is based on the effects of the sun. So how do you want, there's one interior, there's one exterior ray trace, you can immediately see the effect when you like a rendered view. So that kind of different options of visual styles are available in this. So let us go back to the software and see how that is happening. Okay, so this is the plan view. If I want to see the 3D view, double click the 3D option. And you can see now the different styles are available. You can move your mouse, roll your mouse to zoom in. Now the third option which you see is visual styles. So there are different options are available. Click the wireframe. You can see the wireframe view of it. Click the hidden line. So you can see the hidden options. Click the shaded. So you can see the difference. Click the consistent colors. Click the realistic. You can see the realistic view of that image. It may take some time because realistic requires some amount of memory. Now you can see how the visual realistic, then when you say go for ray trace, it may also take some time. So you have to get the ray tracing view. Because all these requires a lot of memory, so RAM should be powerful, otherwise it will take 5 to 10 minutes. So you can see that the ray trace is happening. So you can see the immediate effect. So based on the system's RAM and the power, so it will be shown. Okay. So we normally, while working, we keep it as in the hidden mode. Only while visualizing, you keep it in the realistic mode. Ray trace is not important. Realistic is important. So if you want to use less space, make it realistic or hidden. So while working, always make it in the wireframe or the hidden line, which will be the best mode of working. Then you can make it realistic. So these are the different graphical options as you saw. So next comes your sun on off. Now there is an option in Revit for solar studies where you can see the visual path of sun's range of movement in the sky. So you can see the sun at different times. You can set your own time at 10, 11, 12. So whatever time you move the sun, it will show the shadows accordingly. So the shadows will fall on the building as per the sun's position. Okay, here you can see the difference. This is a single day mode and this is the still mode. So if you want, we can go to the software and we can see how that is happening here. So in order to do that, I can switch on this realistic. You can see the difference. Now once you switch on the realistic, if you want to see it more realistic, here there's the sun path off and you can make it sun path on. So continue with the current settings. You can see the sun path available. You can change your settings. Okay. So when you see the sun, so when you change the settings, the shadows automatically will show. Now I am not setting it deeply because it will take time. So when I come to that subject in particular, so I will take the session in detail. Okay. So I have switched off the sun path. The sun path will be off. Okay. So we'll take this session in the solar study. So the next will be your shadows. Shadows on off. So here you can see the shadows on in the hidden mode and the shadows off. So you can see the difference. So when the shadows are on, it looks like a 3D view itself. So this shadows can be switched on and off in any mode, any visual mode. So we again go to that and here, since the realistic mode will not be able to see it perfectly, so I go to the hidden line and then I show off. So now you can go to any view where you can show. I go to this any north view, double click that. Now the shadows is on. You can see this shadows. When the shadows is off, so you can see the change, difference. Okay, so you can go to any view and do that. Say suppose I go from the kitchen, I go to the hidden mode. You can go to the shadows on and shadows off. Okay. So next will be our crop region, visible crop region, or show or hide a crop region. In Revit, there is an option of choosing the region which you want to see while working, because the plan area may be very large. So you may not want other things to disturb your work. So you can have a crop region visible. So this is the crop region which I show. Here you see the crop region is hidden. So you can want it to hide the crop region and show the crop region. So when you crop the view also, so what happens is the region outside this view will be cropped. So let us see it in practically on the screen on the software. Now let us go to the plan view. So we have two buttons here: crop region, show crop region. Currently the crop region is hidden. Now you can see the crop region is visible and the crop region is hidden. Now suppose I want to crop the view. Now you can see the view is cropped beyond this. So now before that there is a button called do not crop the view. Now when I want to crop the view, you can see that here all these things will go off. You can even control this. Select that and just move it so that you can crop your views. Now the views are not cropped. You can see this. You can see I have moved the crop region, but these things are shown. Now when I click this button, okay, now what you say is do not crop. Now you can see the amount here, it is cropped. Okay, now I move this. See, now you are able to see it. Okay, now when I say don't crop this, do not crop the view, so you can see the other elements beyond the crop region is visible. Okay, so this is how the crop region works. So these things are very small, but they are useful and they will be continually used while working. So this is very, very important to learn before going into the tool. Now next one will be your temporary hide isolate. So which means it hides and displays the elements required. You can control, you can have a control on it. So there is two things now: isolate category and isolate element. Isolate is your selected element will be visible, only will be visible, whereas hide means the selected element will be hidden, the other elements will be visible. Now what is a category and an element? So this is again a very important concept. When chair is an element and furniture is the category. Suppose table is an element, chair and table comes under the furniture category. So when I isolate a category, so if there is a chair, if there is a table, if there is a lamp, etc., all these things will be switched off or isolated or hidden. Whereas an element means only the chair, only the table which I have selected, that element only will be, so there may be lot of chairs, so all the chairs you need to switch off, you need to isolate, you need to hide, then it is a category. Okay, so category is the group of elements comes under the same group. Like furniture, you have chair, table. Table is a furniture, chair is a furniture, almirah is a furniture. Okay, any shelf is a furniture. Right? Walls. So there are different types of walls. Doors. There are different types of doors. A 3-foot door, a 5-foot door. So door is a category. Each door, 5-foot door is an individual element. I hope you have understood. Let us see it on the system, on the tool. So for example, here if you see, I have used the furniture category here. So in this you see that furniture category is hidden. In this the furniture category is reset. So we will see how it works in the tool now. Now let us take this, the same. So now I'm going to use this icon called temporary hide isolate, and now only when you select this will get activated. Now I place this, click this, and it gets selected. It's showing on the properties bar. Now click this button. It says isolate category and isolate element and hide category. Now when I say hide category, you can see all the elements will be hidden. So suppose you want to reset it, you have to click this. You say reset, temporary hide isolate. Okay, so this is how the temporary hide isolate works. Now next we will have called the navigation cube. Now navigation cube, I told you, is used in the previous session for visualization in all directions. Okay, so we have north, south, east, west, and here we have front, back. So you can rotate this view and see your mistakes, corrections. If you want to check out whether your model is perfect, so you can use this cube and you can rotate and orbit in all the directions. Or there is a shortcut also. So let us see again on the tool. So here this is a 2D view, so you are not able to see this navigation cube here. So suppose I want to have the 3D view, I have to go to the 3D view, only then I'll be able to see the navigation cube. So click the 3D, only then you will be able to see it. There is a home button here. So home. So now let me make this visualization as consistent colors. You can see now. Suppose I want to rotate it. So either you can use this west. You can see that your image or your model has come to your west view, a left view. Okay, and you can use this and rotate it, orbit it, and I'm just pressing my mouse, the left, and just rotating, moving on the screen, so it's getting rotated. Okay, so you can rotate it and see all the views. To get back to your original view, click the home button here. So automatically the home button, because since we have changed this view, you click on this, automatically your view, this corner, all the 3 sides will be shown, or this corner, or this corner. Okay, so this was the view which was hidden, which was previously kept. So you can use all these buttons. So but in order to use a shortcut, okay, so you can use the shortcut when you press your mouse wheel. Okay, mouse wheel, it is moving, so that will move your screen. Press one space bar with by keeping the mouse on your, keeping your finger on the mouse wheel. This is zooming. Again one press without leaving your hand, press one button, so that is the orbiting, which is the same as moving the navigation cube. So you can use these buttons and then you can rotate it. Okay, so to leave your mouse, it comes back to the original view, or you can click the home button, which will bring you to the original position, and click on that. and click on the top corner. So automatically you can see your object will be rotated to your original position. So this is how you operate your navigation here. So one more thing which I would like to tell you is called the reveal hidden elements. So when suppose in the plan view I hide some elements. For example, I select this and I go to this specs icon. I say hide category. Okay, now I want to see which elements are hidden. I don't know. So first time, so now you can use this button to see which elements are hidden. You can see the blue highlighted are hidden. So you can use this buttons to view the elements, hidden elements. This is called reveal hidden elements. So you can both use this view, and if you want to set it, come to reset temporary hide isolate. So once again, we will go into now in the next session we will show you how to open a file. Now this I have explained with the modeled, I have a ready-made model and I've explained it. Okay, so a lot of things are missed out, because when you open a new file, so the elevation, the whole thing will not be there, the model will not be there, it will be a plain template. So I need to show you how a template works, which we will see in the next session. Thank you for this session, and then we will see you in the next session by how to open a file, and we will take a project and work out. Thank you.